This presentation explores the life of Mr. Daniel Yazzie, a 76-year-old Navajo man and Vietnam veteran. His story highlights the importance of resilience, spirituality, and cultural identity in aging. I had the privilege of speaking with him in his home where he reflected on his personal experiences as a soldier, husband, father, and elder. Through the lens of social work theory, I'll analyze his biological, psychological, and social dimensions, discuss culture and religious influences, and reflect on self-awareness and empathy in practice. Mr. Yazzie was warm and welcoming from the start. His home reflected both his heritage and his history. Woven blankets, Catholic Catholic icons, and photos of his late wife and grandchildren. He shared memories from childhood on the reservation, his years in the military, and the deep cultural traditions that continue to shape his life. The purpose of this interview was to understand his journey through the biopsychosocial lens and apply social work theories to appreciate the strengths and challenges of older adults in culturally diverse populations. Mr. Yazzie's story begins with resilience born from hardship. Growing up with limited resources, the reservation taught him self-reliance and community values. The Vietnam War introduced trauma that affected him for decades, but through faith, therapy, and cultural healing, he found peace. His long marriage to Clara grounded him and gave him purpose. Even after loss, he remains active in his community, mentoring younger veterans and engaging with local students. His life represents successful aging through service, connection, and acceptance. The life course perspective helps explain how Mr. Yazzie's historical events, such as boarding schools and Vietnam, shaped Mr. Yazzie's trajectory and worldview. Erickson's final psychosocial stage, integrity versus despair, fits him well. He looks back on life with gratitude and reconciliation, finding meaning in both joy and pain. The strengths perspective encourages practitioners to focus on resilience rather than pathology. Mr. Yazzie's coping mechanisms, such as humor, spirituality, and family, exemplify exemplify inner strength that guides his later years. Biologically, Mr. Yazzie manages chronic health conditions common in older adults, including diabetes and arthritis. Instead of allowing these to limit him, he adapts his lifestyle through daily walking and gardening, promoting mobility and mental clarity. His belief that aging is sacred comes from the Navajo tradition, where elders are respected as keepers of wisdom. He integrates Western medicine with traditional healing ceremonies, illustrates a holistic approach to health that aligns with the social work principle of treating the whole person, mind, body, and the spirit. Psychologically, Mr. Yazzie's life demonstrates resilience after trauma. For years, he suffered silently from PTSD as believing it was a weakness. Accessing VA counseling gave him a clinical framework for healing, but reconnecting with the Enemy Way ceremony offered spiritual restoration. Humor and storytelling are his self-care methods, helping him release tension and maintain hope. His psychological adjustment reveals how blending evidence-based therapy with cultural practice can enhance the well-being, emphasizing the value of culturally responsive interventions in social work. Socially, Mr. Yazzie remains deeply connected to family and community. Despite living alone, he combats isolation by volunteering at the Veterans Center, sharing stories with sharing stories with younger generations. His grandchildren connect him to modern technology, bridging generational gaps and giving him joy. These interactions strengthen his sense of purpose. Social engagement, especially intergenerational connection, protects against loneliness and supports cognitive and emotional health in young adults. Mr. Yazzie's risk factors includes his military trauma, diabetes, and the grief of losing his wife and son. Yet his protective factors strongly outweigh them. His faith gives him direction, humor allows emotional release, and his culture anchors his identity. Volunteering provides continued purpose. Recognizing these protective factors helps Social workers design strengths-based interventions that help reinforce and self-efficacy rather than focusing solely on deficits. For Mr. Yazzie, culture and religion are inseparable from his identity. Each morning, he offers a Navajo prayer with corn pollen, thanking the Creator for life. And on Sundays, he attends Catholic Mass in memory of his wife. He sees no contradiction between these traditions. Instead, he views them as complementary paths to peace. Gender expectations shaped his role as a protector and a provider, but later in life, caregiving and mentorship have redefined masculinity into compassion and wisdom. Understanding this intersectionality is essential for cultural competence. Integrating a Christian worldview into advocacy for Mr. Yazzie means reflecting on Christ's compassion and service. A social worker guided by these principles would approach him with humility, valuing his inherent worth and emphasizing forgiveness, both central to his healing narrative. The Christian concept of loving one's neighbor parallels social workers' missions to promote social justice and the dignity of all people. Practitioners can honor his faith and culture while offering evidence-based support rooted in empathy and respect. Conducting this interview required deep self-awareness. I reflected on my own cultural background and recognized moments where I needed to pause, listen, and simply hold space for his story. By practicing empathy and non-judgment, I built genuine rapport. This process reinforced how essential reflection and emotional regulation are in ethical practice. Being mindful of our reactions allows us to connect authentically with clients, honor their truths, and provide supportive, trauma-informed care. Here's my references. Thank you.